everybody. I am here with Hannah. We're just gonna go through her recruiting experience, get some tips, what to do, what not to do, and just get a little bit more information about that from her take on things. So Hannah, I will let you go ahead and kind of introduce yourself, give us a little background, with your gymnastics and all that.
Awesome. So my name is Hannah Baddick. I'm currently a senior at the University of New Hampshire. We are one of the only schools in the state that have a D1 program. I did club at Frederick Gymnastics Club in Frederick, Maryland, from the age of 6 up until I graduated. Right now, I currently compete vault and beam, and those are the two main events that I train. But I've competed beam in every meet since my freshman year, and vault is a new event for me this year. So, yeah,
Nice,
that's pretty much
awesome.
me.
There you go, straightforward. I like it.
Yep.
Okay, so you went to Frederick Gymnastics. When did you start that recruiting process? What grade? What you were level 10, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Or what would that look like?
So my recruiting process was actually super interesting. I was one of the first athletes from my gym to actually be recruited for like scholarship purposes. I would say in 8th grade when I got
Okay.
my first college letter. So I was really young and I was actually a level 9. So I stayed
Okay.
back 3 years at level 9. I competed 3 years at level 9 because my bars wasn't ready to really compete level 10. And I struggled a lot with like mental blocks. So I was practicing like Yurchenko fulls, 1.5. So like my vault was really strong. And I was competing a level 10 floor routine. I was pretty much competing level 10 events on every event other than bars. So my recruiting process began at a super young age. Just because we had some coaches coming in to look at athletes for walk-on spots. And
Mhm.
then I had made a YouTube channel because somebody told me to make one. But yeah, so I remember the first time a college coach came into the gym, I was like 13 years old. So I know now to watch me specifically, but I
Yeah.
know now the process is a lot different. But so for me, it started from a very, very young age.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah. So it was very stressful for a young girl, but
Yeah. Well, and so I've spoken with a few college coaches, and really, and what it sounds like, kind of what your situation was, I mean, all arounders are great
mm,
to recruit for, but when you have those kids that really have those wow events, like it seems like you were ready for level 10 on everything else but
yeah.
bars, so really there was a lot of room for development and growth, even on your events that you were really good at already,
Yeah.
because you were already at that level so early. So that's awesome. It makes things a little bit easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I
but
wanna
so
add something too.
go ahead.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I also would say, like, gymnastics, like, college camps were super important for me and that was, like, not really the intention when I would start going to them because my first camp I ever went to was Penn State, and I'm from Pennsylvania originally, so I did gymnastics in Maryland, but I lived in PA.
Okay.
Um, so I actually that's where I met Josie, actually, was one of the college camps, but, that was, like, the initial thing is I didn't realize, I think, like, the skills that I had were, like, what's the word you would use? Like,
Yeah.
favorable, like, they were, like, like, the skills that college
Yeah.
coaches wanted because, like I said, we didn't really have a lot of recruiting experience in my gym. So, those camps were, like, super important to kind of understand, like, what it meant to be a college gymnast and just to, like, get your name out there and actually, like, really work with coaches. And, like, you can start doing those from a super young age now even. So, I would definitely say, like, those were so helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a lot of those camps, they start so early now, just
Mhm.
with their age limits. Which some of them are just fun, and you go do a gymnastics camp at a
Yeah.
college, and it's a good time.
Yeah.
But even high performance ones can start pretty young now,
Yeah.
as long as you have the skills to kind of jump in there.
Mhm.
So you mentioned at your gym, not many kids were being recruited. So who did anyone kind of walk alongside you in this process, or were you kind of on your own, or what did that look like?
So for me personally, it was really overwhelming because at the time, I was a super talented 8th grader. Like, I don't wanna sound like super whatever, but I had a lot of skills that, like, were very desirable for a lot of big schools, and for my coaches, it was really overwhelming because we had schools like Alabama and Oklahoma and Utah contacting our gym. We'll get to that part of the story in a little bit, but, like, they wanted to come in and watch me. I mean, I was getting mail every day from, like, those schools, and it was actually crazy. Um, so at the time, we actually had one of the coaches from Hills Gymnastics, which is a gym that carries, I guess, Carrie Strug, I think, trained there. I mean, Dominique Dawes, like a lot of famous
Yeah.
Olympians. They also had a lot of successful Division One athletes that were on scholarship. So we actually had one of their coaches come in, and we had a meeting with her and some of the other girls that had potential to be recruited, just about like what to do, what to expect.
Yeah.
We were like at competitions where there was college coaches there, and my coach was so new to it, so we really didn't know much of anything. Um, so she kind of like learned with me, and
Mhm.
now if you go look at my gym, we have a ton of girls that are on scholarship now, but like I would definitely say my group and like really started the process. So
Yeah. No, um that's a lot, and especially if you've never been through it, the big
yeah.
learning curve.
Yep.
And especially just there's so many rules and regulations that if you don't know what to even look for,
Yeah.
it's just very, like you said, it's very overwhelming. So I'm glad at least you were able to, get someone in from Hills because yeah, they've had a ton of kids
Yep.
go through all of that. So that's good that you were able to get some help and some
Mhm.
guidance there. Because I'm sure that helped relieve the stress a little bit, at
Yeah.
least for you and your coach, honestly.
Yep.
Because it is a lot. So you're at New Hampshire. When did you actually commit to New Hampshire?
So I actually took about a 9-month period off of gymnastics, um,
Okay.
after my freshman year of high school, which I feel like not a lot of people know about me, but whatever. So I had, like, a lot of mental blocks, and I, like, refused to vault for, like, 9 months. So I took, like, a long period off of gymnastics, and I came back. Um, I know this is still a thing, but the, Region 7 high performance clinic is, like,
Mhm.
you qualify to it if you qualify to nationals or Eastern nationals. So I qualified to nationals the year before. So that was, like, the last time I did gymnastics. I took the entire summer off, went to that camp, and I went with some, like, folders, and it just had, like, a picture of me in it with just some, like, bio information and just a link to my YouTube. And it was just, like, innocent just to, like, get my name back out there because at that point, I decided that I did wanna pursue college gymnastics, but I wasn't going to be successful at a program like the ones that were recruiting me when I
Mhm.
was younger. So the coach from UNH actually just started working here. I was a very beginning of my sophomore year of high school. The clinic was in September, so they called my coaches within like 24 hours of returning back to the gym. They had me up here for a visit. So I visited UNH and I was offered from University of New Hampshire first, and then I had another offer from Bowling Green and Kent State all within like the span of a month. And I had other visits planned, but, like, typically, once you have one offer, like, you can kinda, like, you're in control. So, when I first visited UNH, I kinda knew this is where I wanted to go, but I visited some other schools just to, like, solidify my decision. So I committed here November my sophomore year of high school, and then I
Mhm.
ended up signing 2 years later in November my senior year.
Okay, so it's still pretty early
Mhm.
in the process, especially for taking, that big chunk of time off out of the gym,
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. um, so well, that's cool. That's awesome. I guess that probably took a little bit of stress off to just let you enjoy the last couple years of
yeah,
JO gymnastics,
yeah, for sure.
because you kind of had that taken care of already. Um, so it sounds like this process was a little bit stressful.
Mhm.
Um, but is there something about it that you really enjoyed, or something that you learned from it, um, or was it all just a wash?
Um, I just think that the most important thing that I took away from the entire recruiting process was make sure when schools are recruiting you, they're recruiting you for who you are as a person and the potential that you can add to their team, not just gymnastics wise. Because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to happen. You could have an injury, you could end up hating the sport once you get to college, like anything could happen. So, you want to make sure that you're in a place where the coaches are like really committed to you as a person and not just your gymnastics. And that was something that I felt when I went to UNH and I didn't exactly feel when I went on my other visits. So like when I came here, UNH didn't have the glitziest leotards and the nicest facilities, but like it was a great place that I really felt like it was a family. And you're gonna be spending 4 years with the people that you're meeting. So like really just getting to know the coaches. Um, I remember I used to have, like, weekly phone calls with the coach that recruited me, and they weren't always fun because I was, like, nervous sometimes, but it was good because, like, they wanted to stay involved, and, of course, like, the rules are a little different now, but I would definitely just say, like, it was fun. I mean, I've known my roommates that I live with now are the girls in my class, and we've known each other since my sophomore year of high school. So, like, because we all came in at the same time. So just, like, I think the people that I got to meet and just, like, kind of, like, feeling like I was in control of it to an
Mhm.
extent, and just remembering that, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, like, where who offers you or whatnot, like, if you have a dream to go somewhere and it's a good fit for you, like, I would definitely say, like, that it's good. I mean, I a lot of times questioned, like, "Oh, why New Hampshire? Why did I end up there?" But when you look back on it, it's like the journey that you go through, it's like it's really, I just think, like a learning experience, and I would definitely say, like, to just take every day of it and really, like, just learn from it and not stress too much over it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to kind of get weighed down
Mhm.
with comparing yourself to other people or just overwhelming trying to figure out what school would be a good fit for you, academically,
Yeah,
socially, with the gymnastics aspect of it. Just everything, things change so quickly in an athletic department sometimes. So it's just a lot to kind of try to wrap your head around.
yeah,
And
and I did
you're,
experience that too,
yeah.
so
And you're doing that, as a teenager,
yeah,
as a sophomore, junior, senior in high school. And so it's just a lot to kind of take in,
yeah, for sure.
especially if you're kind of walking through that by yourself. Um, that being said, there's so many talented level nines and tens in the country. Um, but there's not enough spots,
Mhm.
in college gymnastics. There's just not
Yeah.
going to be enough for the talent that's out there right now. So why do you think it can be so hard for good qualified athletes to kind of get noticed and find that spot on a team?
Yeah, I think that the hardest thing about, kind of getting noticed is, you have to put yourself out there, and you really have to, I mean, if you like, you have to be realistic with yourself. If there's a program that you know that you can fit and you can contribute, I would definitely say, like, put yourself there. You kind of have to be realistic, though, like, if you aren't a gymnast that you think you'd see competing on TV at Oklahoma, I feel like you need to be realistic about, like, the program that you wanna be at, the program that you wanna end up competing at, um, and like I said, if you are willing to work hard, there's a place for everybody, and I will, like, wholeheartedly say that, like, if you're a hard worker, you will be accepted on any team. If you have a great personality, you're easy to work with, you're coachable, um, you have a team mindset, like, you really could end up wherever and you could be a great fit. But I just think, like, I think a lot of girls just have almost like, unrealistic expectation, and I'm not saying that in, like, a way to, like, degrade anybody, if you know what I'm saying, but I would just definitely say, like, take some self-reflection and really reflect on, like, your abilities, your strengths as a gymnast, like, what you excel in. if you're a more powerful like, you watch Oklahoma and they all have a certain look about them. They're all very they're performers. They're like they have that finesse. And I know like they oftentimes don't recruit girls that have that. So I would definitely say like keep your options open and don't be closed-minded. Um, and just like the other thing to remember is coaches recruit the whole person. It's not just if you can stick a vault and you have nice pointed feet. Like at the end of the day, it's about what you're gonna add to their team. And I think like I wish that this was true, but like sometimes recruiting for the person more than the athlete like is more important. I mean, sometimes that holds true, but not always. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, like you said, there's just so much that goes into it, and
yeah,
being realistic with yourself and kind of taking a step back and really taking into account what your goals are, what
mhm,
your realistic options would be, even with gymnastics, but also with school, like academics and getting in. And is that going to be a good fit for you in that area as well? I think that is really important and sometimes gets lost in the excitement of
yeah,
it all. Because it is fun to get mail and have these coaches reach out to you and
yeah,
to feel wanted. But at the end of the day, if that's not going to line up with your goals and really their goals, as a team, as a program, then it's going to be a miserable 4 years.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely just wanting to make sure that it fits what you want at the end of the day or at the end of your college career.
yep.
Um, so favorite memory or favorite part of just being a part of college gymnastics?
I would definitely say my freshman year of college. I mean, obviously, our college careers have just been like
Crazy.
crazy and just like the worst, I think, experience that any college gymnast could ever have. Because freshman year, we got to experience real college
Yeah.
gymnastics. Sophomore year was rough. Junior year was even rougher for especially my team. And this year we have a lot of rules specifically, but I would say my favorite memory was winning our conference championship my freshman year. That was just like the day was magical. Like going into it was magical, and just the energy that I think my team had, and like the camaraderie and just the connection that we all shared. My freshman year was just like so awesome, and I find myself constantly comparing every single team that I'm on. Like it's a new team every year. It's never the same. Like it's never the same UNH gymnastics team. Um, but I find myself like reminiscing on like how awesome that team was. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just because, like, I looked up to my teammates so much or if it was just because, like I don't know. It was just an awesome, like, dynamic and experience, and, like, that was just the best day ever, and hopefully we can do it again this year, but you never know. But that was just, like, that was, like, my best memory, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's good that you have good memories of your teammates
Yeah.
and people that you can still talk with and stay in touch with even after
Yeah.
they've graduated and you've graduated and moved on. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
for
And that's
sure.
kind of a bond that will last for a very long time. So awesome. Well, that is all I had for you. Do you have any other words of wisdom or any comments you have for, future recruits or people who are going through it right now?
I would definitely just say, I used to keep this notebook, and it had every single university that had a Division 1 program, Division 2 program, and I would definitely say do your research. Like, I would pick out 10, and I would research, do they have my program that I'm interested in? What are the coaches like? What are the Instagram like, what's their Instagram like? I would definitely just say do your research and know that it's not just about the gymnastics, it's about the people that you're gonna be with, and when you go on your visits, I would definitely say take all of that in. Like, really try to form relationships with the girls on the team. I mean, sometimes I know visits can be stressful for the girls on the team and the recruits, but like really just try to be yourself. Um, and just try to get to know them. And like, honestly, this might sound so weird, but like, check out the girls' social media. Like, see if those are the kind of girls that you wanna hang around, like, if that's the kind of values that you want, to be a part of. Like, it's social media is like so important, I think, and the coaches will look at your social media and you can look at the other girl's social media. Like the way that you represent yourself on social media, I feel like portrays who you are as a person. So I would definitely just say like do your research and just be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. Social media is a great tool.
Yeah.
It can be a little scary sometimes, but I mean, people post everything on there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, I think it's definitely a good thing to, like you said, kind of check out who would be your teammates and what
Yeah.
your coaches are posting and all of that good stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Dying.
Oh, you're good.
All right. Woo. Okay. I almost made it all the way through. Good thing we can cut that out. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, Wendy. That's who's going to be watching this and editing it. Anyway. All right. All right. Hannah, thank you so much for
Of
chatting with us.
course.
Wish you the best of luck this season
Thank
and you and your
you.
teammates. Just stay healthy, stay safe, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.